leader, mentor, team builder. How about this? 3-time Hall of Famer. I'm really excited about today's guest here in the Pro Talk podcast because she's a former teammate of mine back at True McConnell days. She played basketball where I played tennis. She is also quoted, and I love this quote: "We're put on earth to serve and help." So, Buffy Burson, Coach Buffy Burson, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. I'm glad to be here, Rob.
Well, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in forever, but I've followed your coaching career, so I think I see you several times a year on the sports and everything else. So you've been
Yeah,
coaching 32 years now. Is that correct?
correct. At North Georgia, yes, yes.
So that was your
Head coach
first
at North Georgia.
first head coaching job.
It is. It was my first head coaching job. It's the only place I've been at. I was an assistant for 2 years at the University of Montevallo and 3 years at Shorter University in Rome,
Okay,
and then came here. And this is the only head coaching job I've ever had.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, that says something about what you can do with the team. But I remember this point guard coming in at, I think your number was 20. You played number.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Okay. And I don't know. Me and a buddy, we always have these numbers. Like you can tell, you just remember a player based on their jersey number. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
you had tough shoes to compete against Tracy Tipton. She was an amazing point guard.
She was amazing. Yeah, she was one of the best point guards in the nation at the time, for sure. And I learned so much playing my freshman year under her. A lot of adversity, for me. Playing in high school, you're the star or one of the stars, right? And you're playing since you were a freshman, and you get to college all of a sudden, and you're playing behind not only just somebody but Tracy, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get to start, and I had to, buy my time and
Yeah.
get in the game and feel that kind of pressure that I never felt before.
Right.
So that helped me not only then, but in my coaching career
Yeah.
too, to help me kind of identify with other players that were going through that.
But we fans felt comfortable when you came in. I just remember how scrappy you were. Like, she's taller than Tracy. Man, she can get after. I remember you just playing defense, and it was just like, Buffy girl, she can get after. It was fun to watch
She'll
it.
get after.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
How fun
I
was
don't even
that
remember
gym?
that. How was the gym?
I mean,
I'm sorry.
we had that round gym, and we were
Yeah.
feet.
Oh yeah. Banging on
Yeah.
the you guys were awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
coming and banging on the end zone. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, they nobody wanted to play us. That's for
That's
sure.
right. Yeah. Well, Coach Smiley told me, he said, it's a small gym. He said, but he said, you guys make it feel like it's a big gym and it's packed.
Yeah.
The 30 guys up there just chewing tobacco and beating on the.
It's that it was so tight. It was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't want to shoot a free throw at
That's
that
right.
end for
Yeah.
the opponent.
That one
Yeah,
end. Exactly.
yeah, it was great.
So it's great, the evolution, how big Truett has become. Now I broke out my True McConnell
I
college
see that.
windbreaker,
I love it.
but now their colors are what? Blue, white, and gold?
I
The
think
Bears?
so. Yeah, yeah. They've definitely changed. Yeah,
Yeah. So like everything, it grows. So
right.
So I'm going to get to some of your qualifications. In the past 32 years, this is just amazing. You've placed a player every year on the all conference every season. You've had 6 players named conference player of the year, 10 freshman players of the year, 13 All-Americans, 2 national players of the year. And you've been named 4 times Peach Belt Coach of the Year. Is that correct?
I think so. Something like that. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I know
It's
you're humble. So,
well. I
yeah.
mean, that was just you just all any success I've had. You just see the players I got to coach. I mean, when you talk about the All Americans, and you can't really put a number. Our number doesn't really give it, all the respect that it probably deserves. Those kids are just unbelievable, and the type of player you can attract here at North Georgia has always been just amazing, and been grateful for that.
Yeah. Over 600 wins, approaching
Yeah,
650. Yeah.
yeah, yes,
Does it feel like
yes.
that?
No, no. At one point, I looked at how many games I had just coached in, so it was up there for a while, and I was just like, "Geez," and time has just really flown by, and I don't when you say that number, I'm like, I feel like you're talking about somebody else, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's me. I've coached and played in that many games,
Yeah.
and it's quite amazing.
Do you know how many games you've lost?
Um, it's a lot, a lot. I think that it's when we looked at the end of this year, we are, and I say we because it's our program. Like we're 18 away from 700, and I've lost close to 300. I mean, it's been a lot. Yeah, Do you know the number?
I don't, nor does
Okay.
it matter. But and I wasn't. I shouldn't have thrown it at you that way. I'm not trying to dig at you. It's just
No.
I know how losing stinks. It's just
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you can remember those. You know.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. My dad always it was kinda cool. I mean, when I first started my coaching career and in my 3rd year, we got to, like, we won the championship and got to, like, 20 I can't even remember, 26 or 7 wins, and I remember him saying, like, you get to 20, I mean, that's a benchmark in basketball. Get that 20 win
Right.
and see where your team can go. And so for me in my entire career, it's always been if you're going to talk numbers, your team has had a pretty good year if you've gotten to that number.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get to 30, you're just like, wow, that's a special team and you'll probably never forget that team.
So do you ever sit back and you go, we were 25-4, and I'm guessing you guys could sit there and tell, oh, that inbound pass, boom, that could have been 3 losses, or
Yeah.
that's what I meant by how losing
Yeah.
stings so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Yeah,
You feel it. You feel I would be thinking about the 4 for a very, very long time and could
yeah,
probably tell you every play,
sure,
that probably could have gone like you just said either
yeah,
way. That's what you remember.
yeah,
That's what yeah.
yeah.
It sits with you for a while. It hurts.
Well, it's kinda like that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to win, and then when you don't win, you self-assess and overanalyze, and it kinda feels like I always say it's like when you were a little kid and you did something wrong and you knew mom and dad were gonna find out. You
Yeah.
got that bad feeling in your stomach.
Yeah, it sticks with you, and the good thing about basketball, I mean, you turn around, you play pretty quickly,
Yeah,
if we play on a Wednesday and lose and you're playing on Saturday or a lot of times sometimes you're even back to back, but
right.
so it's football, you gotta wait that whole week, and I don't even know, my
Yeah,
dad was a football coach, I'm like, I don't know how you sit on that
yeah,
for those 6 days, and then, that's tough. At least
yeah.
we can turn around and try to get it right again pretty fast.
I know your dad was a huge influence, so take us back. That started your coaching career basically as a little kid.
Yeah, no doubt. He was a high school football coach. He had a career in the NFL and played at Auburn, and just that's my love for Auburn. Some people know that I have a
Yeah.
huge love for and passion for my Auburn Tigers. But yeah, my dad coaching my entire life basically. And so I grew up on the sidelines of the football field in summers and, living at the school. And that's all I really remember. And I didn't know I was watching him, but I was always watching him. I
Mm,
was my eyes were up, always like just the way he handled things, his demeanor. I never saw him like humiliate a player or anything like that. Just the way he handled adversity and he handled success and the importance of fundamentals. I mean, everything that I can like think about with my coaching career, it kind of goes back to him in those terms.
mhm.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever, like, we're talking about losing after a bad loss? How was dad on a Friday night coming home?
Mom was probably worse. My
Really?
mom no, I'm just kidding, no. My mom was passionate now. She would sit right there on the 50, and if you needed to run the ball, you were gonna know, "Hey, Jimmy, run the ball." No, she was, like, the biggest supporter, but I have great memories of Friday nights with, all the assistant coaches coming over to my parents' houses and, the house and their families and
Hmm.
their kids, and it was just a big community.
Yeah.
So if it was a win, it was a wonderful night. If it was a loss, it was maybe they didn't even have it or, those kind of things, but quiet. My dad was really quiet. And the Sunday morning or Saturday morning, film exchange, if he had to drive an hour, 2 hours, I remember going with him sometimes, you have to physically
Pick
get
out
the
the film.
film and, back in the day, right? So we
Yeah.
would drive and see that, but the film was running, the old projector
Right.
was going and he was just back at work. So I feel like that's how I handle losses too. It consumes you until you can see it on film and pinpoint something that okay, we can take this into practice, or we can take this into the team meeting, and there's something tangible that you're like, it's not emotional. It's just this is what happened, and let's fix it together. And it's not a blame game.
Hmm.
I just remember him being very professional and very like, let's fix it, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, he didn't take it out on us, which was good. I don't ever
Right.
remember that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that happens probably
Yeah.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've heard several coaches say I think it was maybe Billy Donovan saying his goal was to never let the family know what dad felt based
Yeah.
on the result. of the game, even though
Yeah.
they know dad's dying inside because the game was bad. But
Absolutely, and
yeah,
I guess, all I could say is, like, I don't have a memory of
that's right.
him, so it's like, if I don't have a memory of losses very much, that's
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah,
I
the way
remember
he
your
handled it.
I remember
Yeah.
your dad and mom at Truett, and it's like he was a big dude, your dad. It's
Yeah,
intimidating.
yeah. He was and just how quiet,
Right.
he just
Yeah.
goes about things, and my mom was very extroverted, and he's not he was very introverted, and they were just a great fit together, yeah.
I remember your mom, I remember she was talking, and it's like,
Yeah.
your dad was this big dude, and so he played how long in pro football?
He played 6 years. He played all of them with the St. Louis football Cardinals at
Yeah.
the time, and then he played his last year for Atlanta Falcons. And 68 was his last year with the
Okay.
Atlanta Falcons.
Now he
Yeah.
did what was it, a punt return or he blocked a punt? What was really cool? He did something really cool.
He did a lot, like, at Auburn, he was everything. He was a running back, defensive back, kickoff, punt return. They played both sides of the ball, I mean, they didn't take a play off at Auburn, and when he got into the pros, he was a defensive back and kickoff, punt return, so if I posted a clip on Facebook, you probably saw either a kickoff, a punt, or a punt
Yeah.
return.
I think it was a
Yeah.
punt. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good stories back then, yeah,
Nice. Well, I know you miss them and they were such a great influence for you. If I
definitely.
wonder, you might want to ask your dad this question. It seems like when you recruit, like before you recruit, kids seem, I'm going to say it's softer from my experience on the tennis court than even 15 years ago. They
Yeah.
give up kind of quickly.
Yeah.
There's an excuse for things pretty fast. Parents enable kids to, oh, it's okay. No, it's not
Yeah.
okay. That's not. I had a little girl come off the court one day, and she was very mouthy to me and
Mm.
mouthy to her brothers. And when she came off the court, the dad was like, "Hey, you were great today." I'm like,
Whoa.
my dad would have worn my
What were
butt
you
out
watching?
all the way to the car. She was
Oh
disrespectful
my
to me.
goodness.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it just seems like kids are softer. So, do you notice that? And if so, how do you handle that?
Well, I mean, like you just mentioned recruiting, that's something if you can find that out ahead of time, then you're obviously not gonna recruit that, but if you do have that in your team, in your program, you try to use every tool in the toolbox to make it change, and some of that's peer pressure that with the other players that you coach and everything, but for the general, like, the I would say you said maybe 10 or 15 years, maybe they've changed softer. I think it's just they what's the word for it? I mean, maybe you're right about the parents too. Like everything's okay, everything's about image, everything's about covering stuff up and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
don't know. We have some things we do in our program to coach toughness, to coach getting through adversity. We have things like that, so it's weeded out pretty fast. Like you don't want to stay in our program if you can't get through that. So I think recruiting and probably that, if we missed on it, helps us a little bit.
Hmm. Have you ever researched their social media before you talk to them?
Every time, there's no doubt,
Wow.
and I found, there's some that don't either. They do a good job of making them private. Some of them will make them private, but absolutely, every player that we've recruited since social media has been a thing, we go to it, and just Instagram, Twitter. I mean, we're not doing a deep dive,
Yeah.
but if it's public and it's for everyone to see, then we're definitely, we're looking at that, and we're looking at what they like, what they retweet,
Hmm.
what they put out there. So that's a big thing these days for sure.
Well, I think that's huge. I've got a guy I coach who's in commercial real estate. He mentioned that years ago. He said, I look at everything. He said, I want to know
Yeah,
what kind of person's coming onto my team. And I thought that's a great way for a business leader to think that people in your office are on your team.
no doubt. We
Wow.
do. Yeah, we have to, like, when we bring them in, once they're on our team, like that's obviously part of that first week of classes and everything. When you're going over your standards and all that kind of thing. I mean, we have to really talk about how they're handling social media and everything.
Mhm.
But generally, they're probably not getting recruited if it's already a red flag.
Yeah.
It's just something, it's like, whoa. I mean, with parents overlooking it,
Hmm.
and with all the knowledge that everybody has these days about how it can hurt you or help you, you would be crazy right now to have anything negative on it
Yeah.
if you're trying to go play
Right.
collegiately somewhere.
But it
Yeah.
seems, it's the self-serving, look at me.
Oh,
And you even see it in the professional ranks. It drives me nuts that somebody does something, they have to have a dance, or somebody hits just your basic
yeah.
base hit in baseball, and they got
Right.
to gyrate
Flip
looking
it.
at the dugout. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's entertainment, but that's not the way you win with class.
Yeah, for sure. That it drives me crazy, right? I mean, it's like in the trends basketball wise right now. I mean, this the same graphic that Chat GPT put together. Everybody's using that for a commitment, for a re offer, an offer. Everything looks the same. It didn't happen if you don't post it, I guess, because that's kind of
Right.
what it looks like these days. And it's just a lot
Yeah.
of that. I actually it's been pretty refreshing with the players that we signed this year. I mean, they weren't about that. I mean, they once we signed them, they put it out there on social media, which is kind of the norm. But before that, it wasn't like a look at me kind of thing. And
Hmm.
so I think we did our homework pretty well, and there's some pretty special kids that are coming in.
I think I know the answer, but and I know you're a John Wooden fan. When one of your girls gets an assist and makes the basket, they look at the player who threw him the pass, correct?
Yeah, for
Something.
sure. Yeah, and one of our GAs right now played for us, and she's been out a year now, but she was first team all conference player, Emily Truschel, and I mean, she went above and beyond with the point. I mean, like it was every single time, and that kind of, and we want everybody to do it, but I just thought she did such a good job. And when one person doesn't, it picks up on everybody else. But
Yeah.
it's important. It's a good habit to make for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
That connection's powerful. Do you videotape your practices?
We have last year we switched over to a new system and used the huddle system, so we got the cameras up now, so
That's
we
cool.
do record them. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's good. Yeah. I mean that we've done some things in the past. I mean, we keep a TV on the court and things where we can walk over and show some stuff. We'll film certain sections of practice is what I like to do the most. Like I'll pick out certain things on the practice plan and make sure we get that. So it's not like a 2 hour clip, right? Where you're just doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I can look at and share,
Yeah.
either for me or our assistants or share with the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Videos, I know you know that video is huge.
Yeah.
It's the one thing it doesn't lie to you. I
It
mean, it's the
doesn't
truth right
exactly.
there with video. Yeah.
Right. Camera does not lie. I
Does not
thought
lie.
it was pretty huge. I heard Gino Ariema talk about he watches game film, and he also studies the bench, where if
Mhm.
a player came out of the game and
Yes.
that kid's hanging their head, but we're on a run, that girl's not playing. I'm like,
She's not going back in.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought that's pretty huge because that's a team
It's
player for
neat.
you.
Yeah, and I love that too. Like it's our social media coverage in North Georgia is really good on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and they do stories throughout the game and stuff, and so it's really cool to go back and look at the excitement that there may be one player that's not excited, and you're like, what is
Yeah.
if it's what is she doing it consistently?
Yeah.
And then obviously, like you said, you can see in film and in
Yeah.
pictures and things like that. You can't hide that. Like
Right.
and you want everybody to be at least, somewhat excited for their teammates
Yeah.
when good things happen. Yeah.
It's kind of like looking back. I'm glad we didn't have all this technology when we were athletes, or
I think about that all the time.
yeah.
I'm like, goodness gracious. I don't know. I don't think I would have handled it very well. It's
Well,
so funny.
it wasn't like well, outside of practice, it's like none of us misbehave that much at Truett, but if there's
Yeah.
cameras everywhere and everybody's got
I know. Yeah. You
yeah,
can't get away with anything, right?
yeah. Hey, our
Yeah.
our big what would we do at Truett when they locked the gym at 9 o'clock? We'd ask the security guard, "Can you open it back up so we can go back and play?" Yeah,
Yeah. Can you let us back
yeah.
in?
He would
Yeah.
say we have to lock it at 9, and then you guys go play again. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. As far as recruiting goes, you're recruiting all year long, correct?
Mhm.
So in season, off
Yeah.
season. When you recruit and you've got your eye on a girl and their team loses, how much are you watching that interaction with your teammates, coach, and parents after the game?
Oh gosh, I it just won this year in a good way. I was watching a high school game one night, and they had had a lot of success, and they finally lost a game. And I was just watching that one player, like you're talking about, that we were recruiting, and she immediately went over to her teammates first, and her coach hit hands, and then led the handshake line with the opponents. And I thought that was pretty mature, and that was pretty good leadership right
Sure.
there. Yeah, they don't realize, like, we're getting there. I know all the coaches do this too, but we're getting there early to watch warm ups. We're watching interactions. We're watching how you go to halftime and back. We're watching timeouts.
Right.
We had our team camp last week, and I was really trying to make a decision on one player, and I don't know what it was, but she kept going when she was taken out. She kept, she just had this one look on her face, and she was at the end of the bench, and just some things like that. You're like, when it's really close between one player and another player that you're looking at, you're going to go to the player that's so engaged and so positive and so, trying to figure things out, not the one that's like showing you question marks, right? And you're
Hmm.
not real sure why she's acting that way. I really don't want to even try to find out, to be quite honest. I mean,
Right.
because you know how you should be, and so we would immediately move on probably to the next person.
Yeah. I remember some of the van trips that we had in college, the away trips coming back for matches, and we're discussing the people that we played against. And yeah, you run into the jerk. And we are always talking about, can you imagine being in a van with that particular jerk or that, the prima donna,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And,
Bad teammates.
I know how you've built great culture. And I was talking to a tennis coach recently who talked about the NIL and all that stuff. And it doesn't matter what someone's getting paid because
No,
it's the family and the culture fighting for each other. And that's been proven based on your results. I want to ask you, Red Auerbach, the legendary coach of the Celtics, said every great
eh,
team needs to have an agitator. Back to when we were in college, Danny Ainge played for the Boston Celtics.
yeah,
Somebody that was just kind of in the face, not a bad sport, but just annoying to the other team. Do you
yeah.
look for that, knowing how important defense is for you?
I, do I look for it? I don't know that I like go out and like try to recruit it, but we have it, it's it's it's
Special.
pretty awesome. I love it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and the X factor, right? And you don't want to play against it when you play against other teams, and you know that person, and sometimes you can't even get your team to understand that is the X factor, right? You're gonna have to erase it on the board. You're gonna have to do some extra things. But yeah, if we have that, then I think we're gonna have a pretty successful
Yeah.
season.
I don't know. There's no stat for that, but it's like knowing what that person did to make them change their
Yeah.
pass to somebody else get
For
the steal.
Yeah, for us, for quite some time, we had a player that was actually the player of the year last year until she got hurt. She was player of the year 24-25 and then got tore ACL in December of last year. But she was like our fearless leader, obviously our leading scorer, leading rebounder, all these kind of things. But she was that. She was the X factor too. She was the one that was running balls down. She was the one. So when you took her out of the equation, it wasn't the points and the rebounds, it
Yeah.
was all of that stuff. It was the defensive stuff, it was
Yeah.
the fire, it was everything, and it just kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Takes the air out of your tires.
Right. I want to get into your coaching philosophy. Some of the stuff that in my research with you is just amazing. And one of your quotes is you said, you can't start a team without trust. Can you explain
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with that, right? I mean, I'm always going to, and I tell them to in our when I'm recruiting them and in our first meetings and everything, like, I'm going to trust you until you give me a reason not to, right? And then we're gonna figure that out. It's kind of the once bitten, twice shy thing, or like, you were your parents, right? So if you just if don't lie to me, right? Just
Mhm.
tell me the truth. I would rather know the truth, even if it's really, 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 really bad, than than anything else. Don't not tell me, and don't tell me a lie, right? And that's something that we try to build everything on. And so I get told some things that I don't like, but we figure it out together, and I don't have to get blindsided. And like I said, we have a tool in place. We call it Dog Week, and it's like an adversity week that we do in into August, early September. We've done it for 27 years now. I think we can talk about that if you want to, but we can talk about it later too. But anyway, it's a week of adversity that we do Army Forces training. Throw a little bit of basketball in there, but they have to go through some stuff together, and trust is one of those things, right? And so last year, we had these watermelons that they were carrying around. They had to do some events with watermelons, and if you dropped it, that was just not that was not going to be a good thing, right? That was like one of the things that you just couldn't do. And so it was early one morning, like I don't know, I think we did an event like at 5:30 in the morning or something like that, and we knew like you could smell the watermelon. Like we knew somebody had dropped one, but we were like, okay, so are they going to tell us? So they just kept going through the event. Finally, we stopped. They stopped it and said, "Hey, coach, I dropped the watermelon or whatever." So anyway, we used that as a teachable moment. We were like, "Okay, look, you got to tell me. Like, I don't want you to wait. I want to go ahead and face it, head on. And you guys, and that's the kind of like trust we wanted to build, not like to run away from it or hide it or anything like that. So yeah, it starts with that. Like I said, verify it, but believe, and let's try to keep that as open as possible.
Well, go ahead because I have in my notes dog week. I want to hear all about it because I've mentioned you off air. What the heck is that? And
Yeah,
is David Goggins up there running with you? And I think
I
it's just
wish.
awesome, man.
If I brought David Goggins in here, I don't know. I would be in such awe right now. I love him and what everything about it.
Yeah,
I can't get enough of him.
yeah,
Read his books and everything. So yeah. Okay. So it just in a nutshell, like I started it, like I said, 27, 28 years ago when we were on quarter system here in North Georgia, and we were getting started late. Like these other schools are on semesters, and in NAI you could start practice immediately when you started school. And I felt like we were getting behind. So I brought our kids in early, a week early, and we would do what we call dog week. And we did like back then it was just like basketball, weights, running, track, all that kind of stuff, which you just did back then. So that we did that for about 5 or 6 years, and then with North Georgia having the military, the Corps cadets involved, I was friends with some of the people on that side. My mom actually worked in the military department, so I was really close to, and we were in the same building too. So I was really close with some of those guys, and one of the cadre came to me and said, "Hey, I was in special forces. We do this thing with these events. I think we can coordinate it and make your dog week something different but better." So we threw basketball out, track and all that. We just threw out weights, and we came up with 4 days of just these watered down events of what they did in special forces training, like going up mountains with water cans and telephone pole and sandbags, and creating leadership roles, and you can talk, you can't talk, the team can interact, the team can't interact, just a lot of different things, staging a lot of things to get them to figure things out. So it turned into something just amazing. And it's actually what the alumni talk about when they come back.
yeah,
They don't really talk about this win or that loss or whatever. They talk, the
yeah,
common thread with all of our alumni is definitely dog week. And I'm not sure if I gave it enough justice right there or explained it well enough, but it's 3 or 4 or 5. It's turned into 3 or 4 days now. A little bit. It's not really watered down. It's just more compacted, more events in a short amount of time. We take their phones away, so to speak. Like they voluntarily say, "Hey, here's, we're not going to do that." They tell their parents ahead of time.
yeah,
I'm not going to be. I'm only going to be in contact with my coaches and then my teammates. So if something comes up, then call them, and we'll figure that out. But it hasn't, and they get away from technology, they get away from everything, and it's just they just go all through this together. So the collective adversity has been just really good. So we do that mid-September, and then practice starts in October, and so it carries over, and it seems like every year there's been a direct correlation with maybe how dog week went
yeah,
and how the season went, which has been kind of cool. Like all dog weeks are different, but some of the teams just get more out of it, and some
yeah.
of them buy into it a little bit more, and it's pretty cool. It's been a
Now
neat thing.
to vary it, like what's coming up this year, you don't want your juniors and seniors to know what's going on. Have you figured things out for this
Yeah.
year? Who figures all that out anyway?
Yeah. Well, so the guy that helped me start it he passed away 5 or 6 years ago, and so which was really 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 sad, obviously. But we have another guy that helps us with it that was really good friends with my mom, really good friends with myself. He's been doing it with us for years anyway. So he helps. He comes in. He's actually living in St. Augustine right now, still working for the university. He's in cadet admissions, and his name is Colonel Mike Ivy. He helps us when we get closer to it. So we'll start 3 or 4 weeks out, and he comes up with some stuff, and we take some stuff from all the past years. we'll have events that, this group has never seen before
Right.
that we'll bring in and do, or just something maybe we want to pull out of them. We know that we were able to pull out of this team with this, and maybe we'll try it with them and just tweak stuff. We tweak stuff on the run too during the event. We're like, we want to see it go this way or that way, or the morale is here or there. And we just kind of do that on the fly since we've done it for so long now.
Yeah.
So I think we could write a book and it would be, it would
That's
be
so
really
cool.
cool.
That's great.
Yeah,
Well,
it's been neat.
okay. Now tell the folks at home that you're not sitting there like a Navy SEAL administrator sitting there with your cup of coffee. You actually are the first to repel. Some of the stuff you
Yeah.
do too. What is that about?
For sure. Yeah. If there's, we've done rappelling through the years, not every time. We actually did it this past year on North Georgia's Colombo Tire. We've done it out on the backside of Curie Mountain. We've gone to the Ranger camp and done and have rappelled down their big mountainside. I mean, we've done some pretty tough things through the years. And I told myself way back when, if I'm going to make them do hard things, I'm doing it first. So I would always get out there and rappel first, put the gear on. They're like, "Are you doing this, coach?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing it. I want to go first too, because I want you guys to
Oh,
see. Like, I'm not just like talking about. I want, and I don't like heights necessarily, but it's just, I think there's so much to get out of it. And there was even one time out at the Ranger camp, it had been raining, and it's really really up there. It's really high, and pictures don't even do it justice. And I slipped, and I slipped, and my feet are up high, and you just have to listen to the guys doing the training, and they taught me right back up. And I went back down. I got back down fine, but one of our players had been terrified, and I'd been talking to her the whole time, like, "You're gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine." And then I get up there and do it, and I flip, and she's sitting there watching. So anyway, I had to spend the rest while everybody else was going. I had to like convince her that, look, it's not that bad, and you
yeah.
just got to listen to the guys that actually know what they're doing, which is another good lesson, right? You just got to focus in
Yeah.
on them, and they get you down. They'll get you down the mountain. So, yeah, no, you have to. Now, I'm not saying I'm always carrying all the weight that they're carrying, the physical part. I've carried the cans before, and they're terrible. But I won't. I'm not gonna. At my age, I'm not picking those cans up every
Right.
every dog week and lugging those things around.
You can
I
say
have to have the full transparency there.
a medical excuse or note from your doctor,
Right.
your knee is bad or whatever.
Right. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Well,
Just smart. I don't want, I got to be able to coach this year, right?
yeah,
So, no,
right.
that's good.
So somebody is probably thinking, what the heck school is North Georgia? What is all this stuff? So it's North Georgia Military Academy. What's the exact name of this school?
It's the University of North Georgia. Then it has the Military College of Georgia in there too. So I mean, they're up there with West Point. I mean, they're so it's the cadre. It's probably, I don't know, there may be 10 or 15, but the core cadets, like the whole body of cadets, probably make up 10 to 15% of our student body. They're awesome. I mean, they do so many neat things, and I still pull for them, even pull from them.
Yeah.
They come to our games. They don't come to all of them, but there's select games that they come to. We have a really good relationship with them, which has been kind of cool. Yeah, they were Senior Military College of Georgia,
Okay.
but we're the University of North Georgia.
Got it. I think it was my junior year. I was playing at Berry and we were playing against North Georgia. And at the time, we would play 6 singles positions and then 3 doubles positions. But right in the middle of doubles, it's 5 o'clock. And I'm not sure what it's called, but trumpets.
Retreat.
Okay. That
Yeah.
goes off, and the guys on court just drop their rackets right in the middle of a rally and turn and salute.
Yeah.
We're like, what about the point?
What's
We're
going
like,
on?
and then we realize,
Yeah.
shut up. There's something bigger going on here than our little tennis match.
Yeah, it's one of the traditions. It's the retreat. Every day at 5 o'clock, the cannon goes off. And if you're outside, you stop what you're doing. If you're in your car on campus, you stop and get out of it. And the music will play. And as soon as the music stops, then you go about your business. And it's just one of those traditions.
Yeah.
We were out in first, I guess maybe my second or third year, we had them running around the drill field doing like a mile or whatever. We were timing them. And I was so nice. I didn't know that we were doing it right in the middle when that was going to go off.
Yeah.
So our kids were running around the drill field and it goes off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they have to stop their time mile or whatever we were
Oh,
running. They're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to keep going or
yeah.
stop. I'm like, everybody stop, just stop.
Yeah.
So we stopped, and it's just a neat tradition
It's an
to
awesome
pay
sign of
respect.
respect.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Tell us the foxhole test. What is that exactly?
Yeah, the foxhole test. It's just I got it from Don Meyer. I don't know. It's been out there a while, but we do it when the players come on campus when they don't really know each other very well, and then we'll do it say at the end of dog week when they've gone through some stuff together. So the foxhole is just going to be if I was in a foxhole with anybody on the team, like it's going to be me, and then we're trying to protect ourselves. You want somebody that you trust on the left, somebody that you trust on the right, and then your ride or die right here behind you that you know you're going to trust with everything, like to protect your life. If people were shooting at you and you were, obviously in a foxhole. So we get them to write down those three names in order of who they trust the most and who their ride or die is. And it's real interesting because, and we tell them like, don't pick your friends because you could be best friends with somebody that you don't want to be, or you don't trust them with your life. Right. So we've had them do that, like I said before, and maybe this name, this name, and this name, and then we go through adversity together, and it changes. Those names change, and then you'll generally see maybe if you have 12 people on your roster, you'll see 11 of them put the same name down. Like you just saw, like we went
Wow.
through this, and this one person, and maybe they weren't their ride or die, but they were in their top three every time because they just saw, what they did for the team. So it's really cool. It's cool for us to see if that information we use gingerly. So if they want to know, then they can come to us and kind of see where they
Yeah.
fall, or
Right.
we don't just necessarily throw that out at them. But it's pretty cool. I feel like they kind of know where they are too. You kind of know
Yeah.
what you're giving to the team and what you're holding back,
Hmm.
which is kind of cool.
The uh, I don't know who it was, but one of the star players for UConn mentioned that if you could get through a Gina Ariama practice, that he's going to
Hmm.
prepare you. That the game's going to be cake compared to a
Easy.
UConn practice. And then she went
Yeah.
on to say, when we got out of UConn, we realized how that experience playing for Gina prepared them for life. Much like I think she's in med school as the doctor. She referenced Code Blue, but she referenced Dog Week. Can you
Yeah.
tell us that story?
I can. Katie Williamson met Rock. She played here and won four. Her teams won four straight championships, and she went through four straight dog weeks. And she'll tell you that was the best thing that she did, but it's the worst thing that she did. And that was the thing she was glad when she left here that she had done. Yeah, she said, and I think she might have even said this. She came and spoke to our team one time and let them know this. But when she was in med school and she was actually going through a code blue, she told us that like that was the first thing that hit her mind was like, man, I went through dog week. I can do anything. Like I know adversity, when adversity hits, I know who I am. I know how to do things in adverse situations, and I know I can get through this. And it was the confidence that kind of boosted her through that whole situation, which I thought was like just I those are the things that I love winning more than anything, but those things right there, those sit with me for a while. Like that meant a lot that
Right.
she had gotten that out of something that we did in our program.
It's interesting you say that that doesn't show up on the scoreboard as winning, but as a coach, and John Wooden talked about the 20 years, I'll know what job I
Exactly.
did based on what my players did. I
Yeah.
mentioned to you off air that my brother's been a college baseball coach for I think 36 years now, and he bragged to me that he's been invited to 55 weddings of his former
That's
players.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the count, that's amazing. 55. That's that is yeah, those are the things that you measure, like you said, the 20-year perspective. Like, are my kids gonna walk back through that door 20 years from now and watch our teams practice, or just feel like they want to bring their kids back? I got a text Friday night, this past Friday night, from a player that was a walk on our team for 3 or 4 years in the late '90s, and she not when I say walk on, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like she was definitely a part of our program, but she texted me and she said, "Hey, I'm in going to be incoming. over the weekend, I want to bring for a soccer tournament, I want to bring my daughter up and see all the fields and the gym and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, that to me, it was just so cool. They want to come back. They want to show their kids
Yeah.
where they played and what they were a part of. And those are the kind of things that, when you get older like me, that, that
Right.
mean a lot, right? Because
Sure.
it was a good time in their life, and
Yeah.
they want their kids to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. How about when you cross paths with a kid or now they're an adult and they say, I remember one day at practice you said this and that made the world to me. And that happened to me a couple of times. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know I said
I
that.
don't remember. Right, I don't remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they'll come back and maybe we'll go eat lunch, or you're saying, and they just remember things differently
Right.
too
Yeah.
than how you remember it, and that's pretty. Yeah, that happens a little bit. Yeah,
Can you explain BAGT?
BAGT. Yeah, that acronym for us stands for be a great teammate. So if you ask one of our players just walking around campus, what does that mean to you? They would obviously give you that answer, but they would also tell you that all of our players that come into our program are given the book The Hard Hat by John Gordon, and they have to read that before they get here when classes start. And I don't know if you have you read that? Have you heard of that book?
I've heard of it, but I've not read it.
Yeah. It just in a nutshell too, like it's a true story about that John Gordon. He writes a lot of parables, but this was actually a true story that he wrote about the lacrosse player and at Cordelia that got killed on the field. He actually got hit with the ball right in his chest and it killed him on the field. But the story was about what a great teammate he was. And it just goes through all these different things that he did in his short amount of time, taking care of the freshmen, driving them around, all the traditions they had, being the first one there in the locker room, the last one to leave, just so many things, so many lessons. And so the book is about 21 ways to be a great teammate. And we have our players read that and they have to like give us their top three. They have to focus on their number one and they have to bring these things to the table. But my thing is like I just want them to I want them to see what an actual great teammate is. Like everybody
Yeah.
says they are, but I want them to see these tangible things that he did, that George, his name was George, that George did. I want them to see these clear examples of what a great teammate really is. Like they think it's like just giving me my water bottle, right, or something, or just saying good job.
Yeah.
Those little generic things. I'm like that. That's not what I'm talking about. Like I
Yeah.
want you going above and I want you waiting around on somebody that's having to get treatment in the training room that might not have a ride home and it's 20 degrees outside, and
Yeah.
they just need some support or they just need to hear, somebody just hang around and talk to them or
Right.
recognize that somebody's going through a hard time, not getting to play or whatever and be that person. So it's a big acronym in our program.
I got me a new book to read. Can't wait to check that out. That's
Yeah, it's
cool.
good. It's real quick. It's
Yeah.
a real quick read, but it's really good.
So freshmen have to read that before they start on the team.
Yeah, freshman transfers. If you're just coming in as a grad transfer, you got to read it. And like I said, it's a real easy read. It'd take you 1 hour, if that, to get through it. And we also even take it a step further, and we have a hard hat. So during the year, if you do something above and beyond, you got 10 offensive rebounds or, you did something incredible in practice or just something that either a teammate noticed or a coach noticed, they can recommend to me to give that player the hard hat. And I think we might have given it out 3 times last year. We don't just give it out. It's very hard to earn. So we'll do that every now and then. And that player just keeps that, carries it around for
That's awesome.
practices and stuff like that, just to kind of put it in
Yeah.
their locker, carry it to film, carry it to practice. I don't have to carry it outside the gym, but
Yeah.
it's just a symbol. Yeah.
How huge is that? That's great. Now, does it come back to the office at the end of that, or do they get
At
to
the what?
keep it? Do they get to keep that hard
Yeah.
hat?
It's passed around,
Okay.
so it's the same one that we've had in the program for quite a while. It's in the locker room. I think it's in Ava McLaughlin's locker right now. It's because she was the last one to get it, so she could leave it in there
That's
over the
great.
summer. We
Yeah.
didn't make her take it home.
Cool. Can you explain A and E and then the big C?
Yeah, those are A&E. I think all the coaches would agree. That's attitude and effort, and we shouldn't have to coach that. I remember Andy Landers saying that a long time ago. I'm not in this to coach your attitude and effort. Like those are two things you're going to bring,
Hmm.
especially if you're going to play collegiately. Those are two things. But I took it a little bit further because I really think the big C, which is consistency, is the secret sauce
Yeah.
to anything, right? I mean, I know you know that, like showing up, anybody can show up one time, have a good game, have a good practice, go hard in practice one day, and then the next day you don't. You're never going to have that success that you're going to have if you're consistently showing up. You're giving that, you're planting positive seeds. You're doing all the things right. You still might not be seeing it yet, but you just keep doing it, keep doing it. No one hit wonders, no
Hmm.
overnight successes in our program. Like you're just going to keep putting your head down, keep working,
Yeah.
be consistent. Those are the players and the teams that have had the most success for us.
Now, if I'm a star player, I say star, and one of your players, and I've been lighting it up recently, 22, 25, 26, and I'm just starting to
Yeah.
feel it offensively and just lighting it up. But you're noticing my defense is slacking.
Mhm.
I guess we have a little discussion.
Yeah, we need to talk because they're not gonna. They probably won't be in the game long enough to score 25 points. You know what I mean? Like if you play 40 minutes and you're scoring 25, but you're giving up 30, we definitely have a
Okay.
problem. So hopefully we would notice that before then. But yeah, if you drop 20, if you do it 3 games in a row, then we're probably, we're talking about something different. We're going to try to hide you on defense. But if you do it one game and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I did it one. I mean, what I played good against this team. Why did my minutes go up? Because we're watching all these other things.
Yeah.
We're watching players that are, crashing the boards and getting defensive stops and staying in front of
Yeah.
people and doing all the little stuff,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's more than the points.
Yeah. I remember you were mentioning something about how you wanted to help players, off the court so much that, okay, as college kids, they've got social life, grades,
Yeah.
all this other stuff, homesickness. That's another
There's
side
a
of a coaching job. It's really challenging.
It is, and that's why you need a lot of good support system around myself as well, like our assistant coaches, our grad assistants, our administration, and the people that they have in place. But most importantly, those relationships with teammates that we talk about building are so important because they do have a lot going on, and this social media, this mental health thing is for real. This image stuff is for real. Everybody is so concerned about that. I think the people that are the happiest are the ones that aren't on social media. And I'll even have
Mm,
players come in and be like, I am taking a social media break. I'm putting it down. And they will for a couple of weeks and they'll be really happy. And then they'll pick it back up or
right.
something just because, I mean, that's how they're connected, right? With each other. I mean, if they step off social media, their friends are like, they're still on it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure out there for those type of things. And I even more than I even realize, I'm sure, but I'm very aware of it and want to be helpful to them. And I want to be sensitive to it, but we're also over here trying to win games, right? And want them to mature and understand, what that takes.
Yeah. I forgot which professional athlete it was. I think it was tennis player Tommy Paul said he just got off social media for 30 days because all he cared about was this run, and he felt so happy and healthy, but it bothered
Yeah.
all his friends because they didn't see him. Like, what happened to you?
I'm
And he's like,
sure.
he's in a
Yeah.
tunnel trying to get better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know. Like that's why we give them that one little experiment or experience at Dog Week where we're like, you put it up. Like you can volunteer to do it. Put it up. Put your phone up, and they're without it for 3 or 4 days, and they come back. Like don't get me wrong, they're so excited when they get their phone back.
Right.
It's like a big deal. It's a huge deal, right? They're all like
Yeah.
grabbing it and calling and texting and whatever, but that they will tell you those were like some great days,
Yeah.
where you can just take a break. And so I like you mentioned, I can't imagine having it back when we were playing in college. It was just it's a lot. It's
Hmm.
heavy. It's really heavy.
I mean, I procrastinated enough.
I
I,
know. I didn't need it. I don't need any help, right?
yeah.
I was saying.
Yeah. True. It is like tennis practice, shower, go eat dinner, sit down, study. Hey, you want to go play some hoops? Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah.
Right.
One of your quotes has said that your goal is to get ourselves growing and to get better. And then the one I especially like is not if the kids are going to face adversity, but
Yeah.
when, and I have to be there for them.
Right. Yeah, it's it. I mean, it's coming. It's a matter of when it's coming, but it's coming, and I don't even know. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big, but adversity is going to hit at any part during the season. And just as many years as I've coached, I know it's coming. You can have a great year, and in that team, you wouldn't know it probably from the outside, but that team probably hit more adversity than a 5-25 team or something. It's going to happen. So, yeah, when you mentioned like I want to be there for them, I do, and I try. Like the head coach is a lonely position. And I know you know that yourself. Your brother has been in. It's a very lonely position. Um, when you win, it's awesome, but you're moving on to the next one. When you lose, it's you. Like you take it all on, right? So you want to make sure that you got your eyes on your team. You got on their outside lives, things that are happening. You're not always told. You don't always get all the information that you want. That's why you have to trust your assistants and try to build the trust that you talked about with the players to come tell you. So sometimes you feel like you're the last to know
Hmm.
everything. But when you do know things, when you know they're going through something, when you see your team going through something, and you don't do anything, or you just sit back and you're like, let me see how this plays out. You can't do it. Like you have to address it. Small doesn't stay small, right? I mean, if it's something's kind of creeping up, it's going to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing if you ignore it. So if there's a playing time issue, which is always huge in basketball, if there's relationship issues off the court, those kind of things, or I mean, death, right? And that they're going through just anything. Like if like you've got to call them in, you've got to put your arm around them, you got to be there for them, and just they have to know that they don't always have to use you, but they have to feel comfortable enough to know that like you have an ally, no judgment. You can come in here and tell me you murdered somebody, which hopefully, prayerfully, that would never happen. But I'm going to like be there
Yeah.
for you in the biggest sense
Sure.
that I could possibly be. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the John Wooden quote that I'll try to avoid adversity. However, through adversity, we become better people and stronger because of that.
The only way.
Yeah.
Only way to to fully grow or get better at anything. I've in my own life and watching our teams and players, like it's the only way to go. Like when something bad happens, how you respond to it and what's next. Are you going to sit there and be the victim, or
Hmm.
are you going to rise above and,
Right.
like I said, put your head down and do the work and not let it define you? But I mean, it's scriptural, right? I mean, it's like it's the only way you're going to grow, and you just have to again, it's scriptural. Like you consider it pure joy, like when it happens. It's terrible, but when it does, what's coming out on that other end
Hmm.
is going to be way better than you could ever expect. But you got
Hmm.
to keep going, and you can't let
Yeah.
it define you. Yeah.
There's a interview I saw. You said you had 3 points that you hold yourself to: humility, accountability, and faith. Can you
Yeah.
give us that quote about humble or being humble?
Yeah. So there's two kind of coaches in this world, if
Yeah.
that's the one you're
Yeah. Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, those that are humble and those that are about to be.
I love that.
Right. I mean, it's like if you that second you think, oh, I got it figured out.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, no, 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 no. No, you don't. No one, you don't have it figured out. Number two, you better hold on tight
Yeah.
because adversity's about to smack you in the face or something's gonna happen, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's just that's life. That's how it's life, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great quote. I got that from Lenny Acuff, who's
oh, really?
Stanford. Well, he coached at Barry for many
Yeah.
years, so y'all would have that little connection. But he is the head coach at Stanford
Okay.
in Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah, so I met him when I was in Rome at Shorter. He's a
Is
great
that right?
great coach,
Okay.
great friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You ever
yeah.
miss
He says
Schroeder's?
that. I'm at Schroeder's. Yes, the calzones. I miss that.
Ah.
That's some great calzones.
All right. You mentioned that you used to watch that Pat Summit had open practices at Tennessee, and
Yeah,
then you got to watch them practice, which I think is awesome.
yeah.
Give me one thing that stuck with you this test of time that, hey, I remember that from Coach Summit.
Coach Summit, just I think when I think of her, I think of discipline. Like if you watch her practice or if you watch games, listen to her talk, I would see discipline and like in how she like handled people and had people, you know, be accountable. But I think what people miss, maybe not now because of the documentaries and everything, but what I think people might miss is how much she cared and how much she deeply cared about the people that she coached, about women's basketball, obviously, because she, to me, built what it is today, right? So I think that is probably the biggest thing is just her caring and just being caring enough for the tough love. Like
Mhm.
people care, but they don't care enough to tell you the truth and
Yeah.
tell you like you're not winning because of this or we got to do this, better. And you can see in any kind of locker room speech that she gives or like just observing practices, just how much she was demanding
Mhm.
and really put a discipline was huge in her program.
Right. But again, that's that tough love, and it's the crazy thing is the general public thinks Bobby Knight was an idiot, where his players loved the man.
Yeah,
Not all of them, of course, but and
yeah.
he's very fallible, but at the same time, it's like,
At the end of the day, they want to know the truth,
yeah,
and the truth hurts. But at the end of the day, it hurts worse when they don't know, right? And they're just kind of skating through and, a season goes by and they're like, "Why am I not playing?" Well, we tried to tell you, through this, and this, but sometimes you just gotta like hit it head on. Like
yeah.
the truth is what they really want in the end.
On the technical side of basketball, the way the game has evolved, because when you were at Truett, and I don't know when the 3-point line came in, was that late
My
80s?
freshman year, yeah,
Okay.
my freshman year it came in
Okay.
mid '80s,
All right.
80, yeah, 85, 86.
Yeah. I remember seeing an interview with Coach K saying after he worked with USA basketball and the NBA players, like, I don't care if you're 7 feet tall. You need to learn the step up 3-pointer. Do you have your
Yeah.
centers and forwards? If you're open, take it. Is that something you guys practice?
It depends. They do shoot them in practice, yes. Now, our one of our assistant coaches was National Player of the Year back in 2022, and she was our 5, she was our big, and she stepped out and shot him, and it was big for us, like, but she only did that she developed it and started doing it her junior, senior year, and it was huge because you can't sit in the paint, right? I mean, you have to, like,
Yeah.
come out and guard them, and so that opened it up for some
Spread the
other
floor, right?
people and some drives, right? Yeah, it opened up a lot for us. The past couple years, our bigs have not shot the three; they've shot mid range, which has helped. And I think it matters. And they've tried. They shoot them in practice. All the drills that we do, we want them doing that, because they'll end up with the ball in a late shot clock or something, and sometimes have to put it up. And we've had that experience quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, but our fours, our 1 through 4, everyone shoots it. Everyone. That's a big part of our who we recruit and how we play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like to,
And if they can develop it, if our fives can develop it, like Julianne, our assistant, one of our assistants now, then they can absolutely add it to their toolbox, and it just makes us stronger.
makes you want to go back and recruit Dina Stacks, huh?
She
She
can
could light
shoot
it
it
up.
now. She can light it up. Yeah, man. I love playing with Dina.
Well, I believe this because I've seen it from tennis and a couple others coaches I've talked to, how accurate girls are, and that you're not going to beat the guy one on one. But I've seen girls outshoot the guys, and
Really.
firsthand at
Yeah.
Truett. And I just think that's really cool that when you bring a big up. When I remember in 7th grade, we had a play where our center would come up to just the free throw line, but that would bring the other big up, and half the time he would dump it to a guard because the other
Yeah.
big comes up, and you see
I
it
was
now.
spacing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun to
It's
watch.
huge.
Yeah,
Definitely. Definitely. Opens up a whole nother game for you if you can do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, how do you decompress on a Tuesday night in February? It's 14 degrees outside, and you just had a tough game. What,
I don't. I can't. It takes me I can't during the season. Even like we get with D2, you get a 7-day mandatory break at Christmas. When it hit day 6, I might be, decompressing, and then it's time to go back, right? So it takes me a really, really long time to do that, to be honest. And it's like we talked about, if you lose, but it's the same thing if you win. it's on to the next before you can even get out of the convocation center door, right? The world it's just spinning so fast. I feel like that you can't slow down and take your breath. But if I was gonna try, I mean, I'm putting the phone up, I'm putting the laptop up, I'm trying to step away. It's so hard. I just can't. It's just I don't know. I try to do that in the summer, and I'm still not even there yet. Vacation comes next week after this recruiting trip, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe on my last day of vacation, I can like decompress.
My
This is the way it is.
my dad told me a story years ago that there was a coaching buddy of his in Nebraska. Imagine those winters. But
Yeah.
he had a pile of dirt in his backyard. And after every game, he would take that pile of dirt and just shovel it 2 or 3 feet. It took him
Mm,
20, 30 minutes because that was a physical thing he needed to work out.
yes. Yes. I I don't know if this is just my dad and me, but I just moved. I inherited their house and property. They had 18 acres in Dawsonville, so I just recently moved there, and I love like talk if you want to talk about decompressing, that's me like outside
Nice.
doing something physical. I don't care if it's moving dirt, if it's whatever, that something physical where you just don't even have to think
Yeah.
and try to set your brain down. That's a great example. Yeah.
Now, at the end of the season, I think you just answered it. It takes,
Yeah.
I mean, are you thinking, okay, the toughest thing I guess in this, every team loses except for one. So
Right.
odds are we're not winning the national championship every year. Eh, So how soon after that is like, okay, I got to start thinking next year, or is that immediate?
Yeah, it's different every year, and a lot of it for us is like, has our recruiting class finished? And if it finishes, then you can start kind of moving into next year a little bit faster. For us, it just this spring, it's been a tough recruiting season with the changes in college basketball, with the NIL, with the revenue sharing at the Division 1 level. The transfer portal has looked different for us than it has in the past with who we're able to sign. Even and we may have had them on visits, but they've gone up to a Division 1 instead of coming to maybe a Division 2 where they would have done that last year. So some things have changed. So not to carry draw this out, but if it's a shorter, we've already signed everybody. We can start moving on at that point. But this year has just been different. So a lot of times by June 1st, we've already closed the books and we're moving, and working on some stuff. And like I said, we're still looking for one player and trying to sign that last player. So in my mind, I haven't like closed the books yet and turned the page. But I'm still, we're running the same offense next year, but we're gonna tweak it a little bit. So I've been studying that quite a bit, at the office and at home a little bit. So
Yeah.
it just, it never ends. It's
Yeah.
a good
Cause
thing though. I love it. I love it. I really do.
well, the calendar smacks you in the face. You can't,
Yeah. I mean, I'll blink and it's gonna be next season,
right.
right? So
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. You just enjoy every day, right?
You mentioned mental health. I think people think, well, you love what you do. Everything's great.
Right.
You have another coach you talk to or another sport or somebody at the school or
We have a tremendous like core coaches. I mean, we have a great group at North Georgia. Head coaches are all pretty close. And honestly, like we don't hang out maybe out of North Georgia, but outside of seasons and stuff. But I can go and close the door and talk to any of them. We text each other. We support each other. That's big because I mean we have some really successful coaches that have played for national championships and played in some really big games and had won quite a bit. So it's great to have them. I do have. Do you know Vic Mitchell that used to coach at Shorter?
mm-mm.
When you were at Barry. Anyway, so I coached with him at Shorter. He was the head coach and I was the assistant, and I still stay in touch with him. I mean, if I ever needed anything in this world, I knew I could go to him or just bounce something off of him.
That's
And
great.
then you just yeah, just your friends that you're deeply rooted in relationships that we've kept along the years can always pick up the phone
Yeah.
and do that. Yeah, it's somebody that's not so close to the program always helps, right? They're really not sitting there and watching every game or
Right.
every whatever. That's who I like to talk to.
Yeah.
Or they don't really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have an investment, but they're really not like
Right.
they're not worried about it. They just want to hear. They care more about you than actually what's going
Right.
on. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, if the WNBA called, would you? entertain one of those offers?
They wouldn't call, so I'm not
Come
worried
on.
about it, right? It's so crazy. Could you imagine? Like, I can't even there's more drama in one game than I probably had in my coaching career. Just one game. There's so much drama. It's fun to watch, but
Yeah.
it's just insane right now.
Yeah. Well, at least they have a
Um,
contract now because I know that.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's good.
Uh,
Right
Are
direction.
you a fan of zone or man to man defense? Like if I
Yeah.
said, "Hey Buffy, you have to play this the rest of the season,"
It's man.
that a girl
It's man. Yeah, there's too much zone, just it just doesn't
too passive.
it's good to, like, change the game up,
Yeah.
try to if you're winning, losing, or whatever, or if a team just can't is not knocking shots down, maybe you can go to it, but and unless you invest all your time into it, it's not to me, it's not sustainable. I mean, I've seen successful teams, Syracuse men,
Mhm.
Piedmont's men's basketball team a couple years ago did this really cool zone that we actually talked to them and studied it a little bit, but that was like their thing, man. They did that.
Yeah.
That's how they played. But we can't just run it for like 40 minutes.
Right.
We could throw it in and
Yeah.
change tempo, but
Okay.
we're definitely a man to man program.
If we're playing zone and you could only choose one, 1-3-1 or 2-3.
We have a 1-3-1 in. It's an extended 1-3-1. And it's you can trap out of it or you can back it up or extend it and try to get some steals. And we just find the players like to run it a little bit more and might give a little bit more energy
Yeah.
than sitting back, So
Yeah.
either way, they both change the
Yeah.
way teams have to they have to figure it out at least and they have to knock down outside shots.
I guess it could be situational, but do you prefer a full
Correct.
court press or half court trap?
Well, we don't really do either one a whole lot, and if we're pressing, that means we're probably behind, and I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're
Oops.
really more of a straight half court man.
Yeah.
If we trap, it could be off a ball screen or
Okay.
some situation like that. But we're pretty vanilla when it comes to defense.
Yeah. You're getting it
Yeah,
done. So,
yeah. But just trying, we're trying.
yeah.
Just try to stay in front, get a hand up, box out, get the rebound. Let's go, and let's run and have some fun
There you go.
on the other
Yeah.
end.
Get the board, get
Yeah,
out.
on the other end.
Right.
Yes,
That's the best
I'm more
defense. Make
geared
them
towards
work.
that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Well, let's do a little 2-minute drill here. Tell
Okay.
us the greatest comeback you've ever been a part of.
Oh gosh. It would be we call it the snow game. It was 20, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We were playing UNC Pembroke. We didn't even know we were going to be able to play the game. They stayed in a hotel, so they literally got their bus here and we got our kids here. We played the game. Nobody's in the stands. We're down 18 in the fourth quarter. And I mentioned Julianne, one of our assistants that was on that team, and I can remember her in the fourth quarter, and it wasn't like 10 minutes fourth quarter. It was more like 7 minutes. She was like, she was telling the bench, we're not losing this game. I'm even kind of looking at her like, have you have you seen this? So speaking of pressing, we didn't press a whole lot that year. We just started pressing them, started just chipping away at it. Somehow ended up, at the end and we pulled it out. And I think that was that I think that team was the team that went to the Final Four. That was that 2022 team, I believe. Anyway, it ended up being a really good team in the end, but that was a conference game, and it was a huge game, and it was a snow day. Nobody was there. We're like, it was a home game. You can't lose this game. This is so
Yeah.
important. And then we almost did. No, I think we were 18 down in the fourth.
That's
So that was a
big.
pretty big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Who's the best free throw shooter you've ever coached?
Ooh, gosh, best free throw shooter percentage wise was probably the player you mentioned, Katie, Met Rock Williamson. I think she might have been in the 90s.
Wow.
Emily, I was talking about, it's our GA, Emily Truschel. She was a 40, what do you call it, a 40, 50, 90. Like she shot 40% from three, high, like 44 from three,
Wow.
was over 50% from two, and shot 90s in the free throws.
Nice.
And did that consistently. And that was pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
Wow. Who's
Yeah.
your all-time best defensive player?
Wow, best defensive player. We don't play defense here very much. I'm just kidding. I don't if I had to no,
That
we
might
do.
come
I'm just
back to
kidding.
haunt you.
Yeah, no, right? It always does.
Yeah.
No, you defense wins champion. Defense and rebounding wins
Right?
championships. Rebounding,
It's team
like, right?
defense. I'll let you slide on that. How about that?
There you go, team defense. I know we had I feel like Janine, Dormany Webster she was our 5 on the first team that went NCAA. Our first year that we went NCAA was 2005, 2006, and she was, I think she was newcomer of the year that year, but she was our big, and she protected the rim and was phenomenal, and that team actually won the Peace Belt their first year in the NCAA, which was incredible.
That's
But
sweet.
I think her anchoring the middle and protecting the rim, and I think she probably was right. And then probably Caroline Martin, just that's the name,
Yeah.
that's the player of the year I mentioned that got hurt.
Yeah.
She was just a phenomenal on both sides of the ball. Yeah. She anchored us.
So if you need one 3-pointer made to win the national championship of all your years,
Yeah.
who's coming off the bench to nail it? She's open.
Coming off bench. There's probably several. I can mention one of our assistants right now, Amber Schedule. She hit 2 of the biggest shots in our program history. One was to take us to the regional championship to play in our first regional championship game against Carson Newman. She hit it at the buzzer against Wingate, almost like I would say beyond NBA, like timeline probably with the hand in the face. She hit it to win that game to put us in the regional championship. And then the very next year, she did it at our place, almost in the exact same spot to win the regular season championship. So yeah, that was pretty phenomenal. Yeah, she would be a good one to choose.
So was it the 500th or 600th career victory beating Carson Newman? Was that one of those games?
That was the
How
600, but
about that?
that wasn't that game. But yeah, that's who we played.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who we played.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. You know that.
You played what, softball and what else besides basketball?
In college or just
No,
soccer
growing
was
up as a kid. Sorry.
just growing up, soccer
Oh,
was
really?
I was yeah, if I didn't play basketball, I would have gone. And if there was more opportunities, back in the day there wasn't a whole lot of
Okay.
definitely not opportunity like there is now
Okay.
in the soccer area. But I still would have chosen basketball because it's indoor, right? So
Right.
I hated like games that get canceled because of weather or stuff like that. So that's how my parents would probably tell you that growing up. Like I loved basketball just because it was indoors. I knew it wasn't getting canceled. We were going to get to play, right? But I played that volleyball in high school, softball. My dad actually coached us in softball during the summers, so that was pretty fun to get to play for him. But I would say soccer, basketball. Those are my 2 main
So
ones.
your favorite sport besides basketball would be soccer then?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, to play.
I got you. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your all-time favorite athlete, pro or college,
Oh, man, I probably have a lot. That's a great question.
besides your dad?
Yeah, that would be my number 1 for sure right there. I have a lot of Auburn heroes, Bo Jackson, those type, Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan. Just any Larry Bird. I love Larry. I like all the old school players that were so good
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned about playing other sports as a kid. You were a good basketball player because you were a good soccer player, because you're a good volleyball, good soccer,
Right.
and softball. Do you remember ever getting a trophy other than for first or second place as a kid?
Mm. Mm-mm.
No participation trophies?
No.
Okay.
No, of course not.
Okay. Still trying to help out
No,
today's
that was
youth.
not a thing.
Yeah.
Not a thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. And if we did, we'd have been like, "What the?
Yeah.
What is that? I
Yeah.
don't know what that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No. No participation
yeah,
trophies.
we could talk
Yeah.
for hours about that. So
Right.
I think it's a
Right. No.
terrible disservice because they didn't do anything. You just played.
Yeah. Right. No. That absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should look at that
Uh,
trophy with significance that team I
right.
was
That
on.
meant something.
Yeah.
That meant
All
something.
right. Now, speaking of teams, who's your all-time favorite sports team?
So I love anything St. Louis. So, but I'm an Atlanta Braves fan over St. Louis Cardinals, but I do like the Cardinals. I'm St. Louis Blues hockey fan.
Oh, wow.
That's been recent. That's been recently. That's been over the past probably 5 or 6 years. My brother is diehard St. Louis Blues.
Nice.
Falcons, of course. I keep up with the Fever now because of Caitlin Clark. I like watching them. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Gosh, anything Boston I like. I like the Celtics.
I did not
But
know that.
Auburn.
I'd
Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Boston, like Boston Celtics, anything Auburn, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. And Auburn just won the golf. They just won the national championship in golf, I
I
believe.
did not know that.
I think so. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, we want football, but we'll take golf
Right.
right now. Yeah.
Do you have, besides the hard hat, do you have a favorite book?
I'm gonna be honest, the David Goggins,
Can't hurt.
You Can't Hurt
Oh
Me.
my.
That I don't know if that's my favorite book,
No.
but talk about like if you want to like not change your life, but if you want to get a different perspective on something, that was tough. That was really
Yeah.
tough.
No
Yeah.
excuses. Holy cow.
Right?
Yeah.
Just accountability.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the biggest things I got out of
His
that. Like,
second book's
man.
pretty strong too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny.
Yeah.
I was listening to him one morning. My wife said, he uses the F word a lot, doesn't he? I said, oh, yeah.
Dog. That's what I think I shared it with one of our players one time because we started talking about it and it was like it was a podcast. And I had to like
Uh,
put the like you gotta make sure that you get past that
yeah.
or if you don't want to watch it
Yeah.
because of this. But yeah, it's intense.
Apparently,
But
there's an
yeah.
Audible edition that bleeps it out because he uses it
That's not
like
the
it.
one I had.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's okay, David, I got it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know. It's a
yeah.
lot.
Are you familiar with
Yeah.
Chad Wright?
No.
Okay. I'll tell you about
Mm-mm.
him off air. He's awesome. Saw him speak at my parents' church. He and Goggins,
Okay, yeah.
he and Goggins are like that. And
Really? Okay, yeah, share that with me later.
one kid asked, he said, can you beat, he said, you know David Goggins, and if you do you think you could beat him in a race? And he chuckled. He said, yes, I know Mr. Goggins. And he goes, in a race, he goes, I know the Lord, and that's why I would beat him by that much. This guy, Chad Wright, you'll check him out. He's awesome too. He's a SEAL,
Okay.
unbelievable. But
Okay. Yeah.
anyway,
How about that?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's
if you were allowed to have a pause button or a rewind button on your life, which would you choose?
pause.
Take a deep breath.
Just
Need a longer
slow down,
summer?
man. Yeah, I just want a longer summer, right? Yeah. Not replay. I'm grateful for everything. It's been a lot of hard, a lot of good. So yeah, I would just want to pause it.
There you go.
Just just hang
Take
on.
a deep
Yeah.
breath.
Slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going fast.
Is there a favorite Buffy Burson quote or a quote of somebody else? This will be my last question.
We use and I took it from the Hard Hat book. WD is greater than WS, and it means well done is greater than well said.
Okay.
And it's just something we use in our program. Like, let's don't talk about it. Let's be about it. And I love Auburn's new football coach. He said, let's be who we say we are. Right. I mean, that's his slogan. He's not putting anything else. He just said, be who you say you are. Right. So, I mean, it's like, let's don't like, you don't have to talk about things, man. Just try to go do it and do the best you can with
Yeah,
what you got where you are.
that's great. Well, the three Hall of Fames, I'm not going to fail to mention Milton High School,
Mhm.
Montevallo, and Truett McConnell Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
awesome. You should be proud
That
about
was
that.
wonderful. I am. I really am. That was quite an honor, quite a surprise, to be honest. But it was a huge honor, and that was during the season a year ago, and drove over there the night before a game, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. And Coach Tilley was there, and Tracy gave him a quote, and I was able to talk about Tracy and Rhonda both. And when I spoke, because they were just such great teammates, and I felt like they should be in the Hall of Fame in front of me. And they had quite great careers, but it was mm, it was quite an honor. I would say that's right up there. That was
Yeah.
a neat night. I
Ah,
mean, I don't even know too many people know about it. It was just very very when my parents passed on, it was just a very quiet
sure.
thing that happened
Yeah,
but something very meaningful to
sure.
me for sure. Thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah, you deserve it. And
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that because I always respected you as a friend, but it's like I've watched your coaching career. I'm like, man, Buffy's building one powerhouse of a program over there. And like that backup point guard I knew, man, she's tough as nails. So, I remember you
I
bringing the ball
appreciate
up the court. And so
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Thank
anyway,
you.
I'll let you get running. I know you got things to do. I just wrote down a few things here that I'm looking forward to going back to edit this that, the fundamentals and just the daily discipline things that you modeled from your father, I think is just great.
Mhm.
how you build trust with your team through adversity. It says, you said, I know who I am because of the adversity. I think that's so powerful. And I
Yeah.
am going to check out the Hard Hat book. That's going to be next on my list.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, for sure,
so
dude. It's good.
very cool. So,
Very quick read. And I really appreciate it. You certainly did your homework, and that means a lot. And I have all the respect in the world for you, and you're a great friend. And I know I haven't seen you in a while, but I keep up with you, and it's brought me back
yeah,
down memory
yeah.
lane, and it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing a wonderful job and a
Uh,
great service, and you're giving back by doing things like this. Now I listen to podcasts all the time, and I'm gonna jump on yours and
good.
listen to yours. I pick up something all the time from them.
Well, it's funny because I told my wife, I said, how selfish I am because I don't know if anybody else is enjoying it, but I love the interaction with great
Yeah,
people like you that I learn from again and again and again. So it's been,
it's the only way to go. That's the
yeah,
only way to grow. I love
yeah,
it. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've,
yeah.
I've learned from you too, my friend.
So again, Buffy Burson, coach at North Georgia, appreciate your time and your advice and your insights. And for you out there, if you like this episode, make sure you subscribe and send this episode on to another person you think would benefit from. So till next time, make the most of your time, be bold, and always hang tough.